Hey, decision makers. Want to stay in the loop with exclusive content and the opportunity to be on the show? Text DECIDE to 218-432-9722 now, and let's get connected today.
God is so good that he will not leave you in a unpleasant situation, so that what you went through, you'll have something to tell for the next person. There's always somebody that's not you going through it for just in vain, just for nothing. It's for the next person that's coming up.
Welcome to the Just a Decision podcast, where we speak to our guests about the decisions they made in life, the good, the bad, their regrets, the decisions they're currently making, and the decisions they're gonna make for the future. Subscribe, like, comment on the video, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. And remember, we're available on all streaming platforms.
Today, I have the honor of introducing Mr. Isaiah Showell. The reason he's laughing is we had a couple takes of the introduction.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you're here, brother.
Thanks for having me, Josh. I appreciate that, man.
Cool.
That's so funny. Because you know why it's funny? Because everybody does that. A lot of people do that. It's a Showell. Like, Showell.
Showell.
Shout out to my daddy.
Cool. So how we start the podcast is we start off with two simple questions.
All right.
First question is, what's your favorite dish and from where?
Whoa. I'm going to keep it simple. Give me a fried chicken, a breast, with a side of macaroni and cheese, baked macaroni and cheese, and some sweet potatoes too. Yeah.
Okay.
And or stuffing.
From where?
My kitchen.
Okay.
From my
so you're a
mama's
master
house.
chef.
Or,
Okay, mama's house.
Or, yeah, shout out to my mom. My mom was the best cook I know. And let's see. If I have to go outside of the house, Boston Market. Shout out to them.
They got good sweet potatoes.
Love them. Yeah, love them. Yeah.
Cool.
Or a good Cracker Barrel never fails.
Okay.
Yeah, Cracker Barrel's pretty good too.
I like their dumpling.
I've never had them.
Or the chicken fried steak.
Okay. I'll look out for it.
All right.
Yeah.
Second question. Someone gives you a blank check.
Yeah.
Whatever number you write on it, it's going to cash the next day. Checking's not your savings. What's the first thing you're going to buy?
I'm going to buy me a... Oh, man. You know what? I'm going to buy me a house.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to get me a house. Something big. Something big for all the siblings and my family. You know, future Showells to come. Future wife and my children. Yeah, I'm going to do that. But then, obviously the first thing, I'm a college grad, so I'm going to go get these student loans checked off. You know what I'm saying? Do the right thing. First of all, can I start that over? First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tithe my money. That's the first thing I'm going to do. And then secondly, what I have, give it honor to God. And then after that, go get me a house and provide for my family.
Cool.
Yeah.
Where's the house going to be? You staying in Jersey?
Oh, man, I want multiple locations and properties. So South Jersey, definitely. But I want to go to Atlanta. And I want to go also to, got to go to the West Side. Got to go LA. And also, Tampa doesn't sound bad.
Okay.
Florida.
Nice.
Yeah, Florida doesn't sound bad at all.
I wouldn't mind a Florida house.
Yeah. And in South Jersey, maybe it's somewhere like on the beach. Maybe somewhere beachfront property.
Okay. Like Avalon?
More like Ocean City.
Okay.
Or Voorhees is nice too.
Okay.
Yeah, I like Voorhees too. Yeah.
We're going to start, what's one of the earliest decisions that Isaiah could remember making in life? So for an example.
It's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. Here we go. No examples needed.
Yeah, I make a lot of decisions, man.
Okay.
But go ahead, finish your question. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say an example like your mom telling you not to eat those sweets and you still snuck into the cabinet or the pantry and ate that Pop-Tart or that snack you're not supposed to have before dinner.
Okay. So one of the earliest decisions I made as a young boy was watching the animated series, Batman, the animated series. That was one of my favorite shows. All of the drama that was in this cartoon was amazing, man. And there's such a moral compass in that show, whether people realize it or not. It's such a just do right, and, look out for the other guy. And, if you can't help anybody, then Well, Batman's thing was, he's going to help the person that can't help themselves, and he doesn't ever want anything to happen to other people that happened to him. So and then he's so disciplined. I didn't know this as a kid.
Yeah.
I noticed that now the character's so disciplined, but as a kid, aesthetically with the cape and then the silhouette when he comes out and he's trying to question somebody, they would be scared of him. And then also he was so physically fit, and he was a hero. He always won, and he knew how to fight. Batman was. I made a decision to be a Batman fan, and little did I know that it ran in my family because my mom was a Batman fan too.
Okay,
but she's more like Adam West. She was like Batman. So I was like, I don't know that. I don't know that, but I like the 90s animated series.
So like the WB?
Yeah, well, it was like Fox Kids.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was like something that would come on during the work week. But it was my cartoon. Like I would look forward to that thing all the time. Batman the animated series.
So
yeah.
I'm assuming you liked the Dark Knight when that came.
Oh yeah. The Dark Knight was great. Dark Knight was excellent. That came out when I was in high school too, so I was just like, oh my gosh, I love this thing. It brought me back to like my base. Because, high school can be some confusing. It was confusing times for me. So I was just like, who the heck am I, man? I'm so depressed because you don't want to veer too much to the left or to the right. Meaning like when I was coming up, I was a Michael Jackson fan, And then I could just picture people making fun of me if I'm walking down this high school hallway and I'm like, hey, woo! That just don't fly. But like as I was a little kid, that's all I would be doing. Learning the moonwalk, all types of stuff. And then watching Batman Begins and Batman Dark Knight Rises, all that good stuff. It was like, wait, this is cool again. I don't care what they say. This is bringing me back to like myself, opposed to like who I was trying to be to fit in. It's like, no. This is where you at. You love Batman. You love these things. Come back, Isaiah. So that's what I was doing.
Cool. I like how a lot of people they go back to finding their identity because that's one of the hardest things in life, even when you're younger. Because most of the things when you're younger is from family, from friends. So like when you say Michael Jackson, who's the one that got you into music and Michael Jackson?
My mom.
Okay.
It's all my mom, man. I come from a single parent household. Shout out to my dad. I had visitation with him.
Okay.
But, for the majority of the week, I'm with my mom.
Okay.
So she's passing down all the good stuff, all the stuff that she loved, and all the rhythms and all the musics and, the gold that she loved, I love. My musical taste comes from her.
Cool.
Yeah.
Did you are you an only child?
I was for a while.
Okay.
I was for about 14 years in my mother's household until my Elijah came along, my younger brother, he came along. I'm 14 years older than him.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm not the only child. My dad, but I'm the oldest out of all my siblings.
Okay.
So my dad, he ended up getting married after my mother and him went their separate ways. So he had 2 children, my Ishmael and my Onyx. Those are my siblings.
Okay.
My siblings, Ishmael's about 4 years younger than me. And I think my sister's about 8 years younger than me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
But I'm the oldest in either house.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's like a difficult position to have as the oldest because you set the tone.
I feel like the parent.
Yeah.
A lot of times, they would pass me the ball or I'll be watching a lot of them. So, I remember just whenever they were hurt, I would hurt even more. Whenever they would feel a disappointment, I'd be like, oh man, or I was thinking of ways to make things better for them. Or I would try to. And I don't know, I just intrinsically, I just felt that was my duty to do that. How wrong was I? But, at the same time, that's how it felt very real.
Cool.
Yeah.
So growing up in elementary school, was music always a thing, or was there a certain age where you started walking down them hallways? I
didn't actually do that, man. I promise you. But like,
I'm like, it's like those people that do those certain things. Like
I didn't actually do that, Josh. I was just saying.
Okay.
I'll say this. I love music was like a nucleus. Okay. If anything, everything. Like growing up in the environments that I had, I came from a loving household, but I came from 2. So there will be a code of honor in one house, but then when you go over to another house, there'll be a whole nother way of doing things. So when I go to school, I'll be on it would be up to me. basically, because nobody was really there for me to lean on. But anytime I would feel like I would be at a loss for words, or I felt maybe even, I don't know, even misunderstood. I would go back to, I would always have a song in my mind or in my heart, or any type of media that I would watch. But to your question, yeah, music was so important, especially as a young boy, because it was like an escape. It was like something that, whatever was going on, it's very tense growing up when you have single parents and they are still trying to figure it out. They're very much human too. They love very much, however, they're not perfect. So, a lot of boo-boos on the way.
Yeah.
And, as a kid, you're soaking it up all, whether or not your parents are trying to shield you from those things. They don't want you to see everything. But like, as a kid, you see everything. You catch every little thing. They're your first like models, your parents. So, the things that they were going through sometimes would spill over to me. And, in order for me to deal with it, I think it was this music music just helped me it was always a source of joy. And it was also, like I said, an escape.
I like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. From 1st to 5th grade, I had my boy. He's my best friend, Jordan. We after school we would go to his house sometimes, and his grandpa had a basement, maybe the size of this one, and he had vinyls from wall to wall, ceiling to floor. And he would, my boys and him, he was like, "What y'all want to listen to?"
Oh,
and he would just grab a regular vinyl and just play the song. And it was cool at that time where most people are stressed after school or I got to do homework.
Yeah,
He's like, "No, let's chill. Let's listen to some music." Yeah. And some of the songs like I'll hear on the radio, like maybe late at night or early in the morning, I'm like, "Why do I know that song?" And I'm thinking it's from his grandpa playing all those old songs.
Vinyl too.
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome. I love that.
And it goes back into, I got a Pollyanna tonight, and the guy I got, they had a wish list. And then I was like, where's the record stores? Because he wanted a vinyl. And then there's a couple in the area that I went to. Yeah. And I just didn't know which one to get. And I was like, what do I get? And he was like, well, what does he like? And then I got him a Childish Gambino one.
Okay.
But they're still kind of expensive. It was $70.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just telling my girlfriend the other day, I was like, I would like some vinyl. I think I should start getting some vinyl just because, where I'm at now, I got a couple of roommates, so it wouldn't have a spot right now, but like in my house, I'd like to start transitioning to vinyl records and not just streaming stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, for sure. Throw that needle on the record.
Yeah.
For sure, bro.
So growing up, you said you were the oldest sibling. Did you have any cousins or anybody that was around your age to lean on to, or?
Absolutely. My mother is the baby of, I think, 10 siblings.
Wow.
Yeah, she's like the 6th girl, I think. So they had kids, her siblings had kids, and, they were my cousins. So I got to do honorable shout outs. Got to shout out Samira. Got to shout out Damien, Devin, Nadira. Nadira was the one that was closest to my age.
Okay.
And, she was, anytime I wanted to play, Batman and, robbers and whatever, she would be like right there. We found the costumes and we go at it in the backyard, or we go, I was bold enough to go outside with that. It's like I would go outside in my community, as Batman. I was the black Batman. Denzel Washington, nah, he ain't the black Batman. I was. But anyway, shout out to my whole SENOJ family and my Showell family too. But more so my mother's side of my family is who I really grew up with. Okay. Yeah, my father's side, I seen like a handful of them, but like my cousins, like the ones that I know and have memories with, it's like Jones side.
Cool.
Yeah, man.
So so besides Batman, elementary, middle school age, what else were you into besides music and Batman?
Man, let's see. When I was in elementary school, I was always, just trying to do the right thing, what I thought was the right thing. I was trying to do good grades. What I loved was staying after school for anything like choir, band rehearsal, or the drama club. So,
Nice.
I would catch that late bus a lot, get home around like 5:30, maybe 6, and, do my homework and, just go to bed. A lot of times I took pride in that because my parents didn't have to worry about me. Like they knew all right, Isaiah, he's going to school. It's not going to be a scenario where I got to, stop what I'm doing from work and worry about, Isaiah's fighting or Isaiah's doing something where, he needs like extra attention. So I knew that. They kind of gave me that reputation, like, yeah, he's the good one. Like even my mom's friends would be like, man, all my babies, if you ever needed me to watch him, it's no problem because he's always like so quiet and all that stuff. And I was like, okay, well, cool. But as far as what I was always into somebody's play. I was always into a play. Like I got a chance to be in The Little Mermaid.
Nice.
I'm coming from this area of the George L. Hess Elementary School, so I did the Little Mermaid. I was Sebastian. They gave me the whole number. I did one number. Did the Michael Jackson thing as Sebastian. Then I got a chance to be. What else did I do? I did all of them. The Sleepy Beauty. I did Little Mermaid. What else did we do? I'm leaving one out. Oh, we did Wizard of Oz.
Okay.
Did the Wizard of Oz too. I wasn't anybody particular in the Wizard of Oz, but just going along with that whole theme, just staying after school and just being very involved. And not going straight home, So I was always on that late bus for sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
Are you still in touch with the arts?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Yeah. Like, what else would I be doing? I mean, God is really good. I think he just wired me this way. There's no coincidence that, I was drawn to performing arts and liking singing and dancing and acting because, I get a chance to walk that out now. And, in a different way than I thought it would be when I was younger. Because, when I was younger, I thought that the whole point was for me to be famous and for me to, let my glory shine. And, now I understand now that, he didn't put me on this earth just to do those things, but he put me on this earth to make sure that his glory is being put out in the world. And, people are, being saved from themselves. And, refocusing their passions and these things, make it less self-centered and more about him, about Jesus Christ. I'm talking about him. When I say the big him, I'm talking about Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll get into that later down the line.
Sure.
So the arts, was there, I don't want to say the word bullying, but was there any pushback in you loving the arts?
Oh, brother, let me tell you
going
something.
into
Let's talk about it.
middle school and high school?
Now, look, when I was in those years, man, I maybe was 100 pounds.
Okay.
As they say, soaking wet. Like it was always those things, especially being a young man or a young boy.
Mm-hmm.
I remember this when I was in elementary school. I remember I was in a band, and my choice of instrument was the flute.
Okay.
And I remember one of these dudes came up to me. The dude was like, "Isaiah, play the flute, huh? It's a very manly instrument to pick." And I was like, "What? I just want to play the flute, right?" So I told my dad about it. He was like. I told my dad about it. He said, next time that boy tells me that, right, what I want you to do is put, I should say, but my dad told me, he said, I want you to do this. I want you to put the flute right next to your, to your stomach, right? And pull it out like this. And he says, well, you know what? The girls seem to like it. I didn't do that.
Okay.
But being who I was, as much as I wanted to be on stage, as much as I wanted to, walk that I walked, it was just different. I always stood out. And it wasn't always something that I wanted to be or wanted to do. I'd much rather blend in. But for some reason, it was always something that I said, or it was always something, even if I'm not even speaking, it would just be me just standing there. Somebody would be like, either in a good way or a bad way. Just like, you or you. So yeah, there was some trials and errors with that.
Okay.
There was a lot of pushback. I wouldn't say bullying, because my dad also, he always told me like, yo, if somebody comes and tries you, let them know. Let them know what it's about. And for the most time, I didn't get into a lot of fights, but I had my interactions.
Okay.
And it was a lot of those. Like I said earlier, I wanted to be like, my reputation was, I'm a good kid, So I'm not, I'm one of the kids you want to watch. So I really didn't get into any trouble unless somebody really pushed me. It took me a minute to really get upset. But once you get me there, it's like, all right, that's it. Now you got me there. We gotta figure this out.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't recall a lot of interactions like that, but I recall maybe a handful. Yeah, but for the most part, I was pretty cool. But being who I was, it was something, or being who I am, it was just something that whenever I see any type of adversity, I would have to speak up. Or if I would see anybody getting taken advantage of, something in me was just like, you got to do something about that. There's probably a lot of Family Matters I would watch. That was my show. If I'm going back to my I'm a 90s kid.
Okay.
So TGIF, Steve, Carl, Laura Winslow, Eddie, I was like, that was my moral. I relied on that show a lot. And they wouldn't play in any type of, injustice or anybody getting picked on. So I took that and ran with it.
Cool.
I love that show to this day.
So that was your after. So you watched all the adult shows after school. You just but if it wasn't Batman on
TV, was an escape, man. Mm-hmm. I could run it down right now. I used to watch Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I used to watch Family Matters. I used to watch Step by Step, a little bit of Boy Meets World. I used to watch Hercules, The Legendary Journeys, Xena, the Warrior Princess. I used to watch...
that was on USA.
Yeah, all that stuff, man. I used to like everything. I used to watch Zorro. I used to watch Batman. I used to watch Spider-Man, the animated series. All those things. Like, just Big Bad Beetleborgs, Power Rangers. All those things. But it was, imagine this. My upbringing was great. Like I was pretty much sheltered, but it was very much turmoil between my parents. When I would watch my parents interact as a young man, it was just like, they don't have anything nice to say to each other. So your parents are way bigger than you, right? You don't have any influence. I didn't have any influence. So what can you do? What can you control? I guess what you're watching. So they could be going at it, but tuned it out because I'm looking at Will Smith talking to Carlton. You know what I'm saying? Or I could tune it out because I'm watching, Steve Urkel trying to get with Laura Winslow. So they were like, those TV shows are kind of like my buddies. You know what I mean? So like, even if it wasn't a happy ending here in reality, whoever wrote the episode, they wrote that happy ending for them, So it was just like, okay, this is nice. This is what I want. You know what I mean? So, as life has taught me, as I'm older now, it's like, oh, okay. My parents are just trying to figure it out. And none of them really knew God. None of them understood about, the temperament and fighting fair. All of them were, even though they didn't have nice things to say about each other, it came from a place of once upon a time, they were madly in love. Once upon a time, they really cared. And I found by being in my own relationships that I find that you can't really be that nasty to someone unless at one point you really cared. So it was just like, oh, Dad, why are you so mean to Mom? At one point, that man really cared about her. Vice versa. Mom, why you can't find nothing nice to say about Dad? Well, at one point I loved him, son. And, now I feel like I got to protect myself. Because, I feel like I don't want to be looking out here looking stupid. So I learned that. And yeah, that's very much what my parents were in. And the surrounding or the stuff that I kind of grew up in.
It's got to be kind of difficult to learn about emotional intelligence at such a young age because you got adults still trying to.
God is good, man, because like certain parts of my life that are like question marks, like with my parents or any of my upbringing, he has been gracious enough to say, here's some revelation on why that happened. And I'll be thinking, and it'll come at the most randomest times. I'll be like sitting at, I don't know, Starbucks or something, or I'll be sitting down, just sitting, and that'll pop into my mind. I knew it wasn't me thinking it, but it meant so much. And it's like, oh, that helps. And it makes so much sense. So, Yeah. Just not to leave me on blank,
Cool.
you know? Yeah.
Cool. So that transition from middle school to high school, like
Ooh,
what's going
bully.
on?
That was rough. Ooh, that was rough, cuz.
What's going on?
Shoot, let's see. What's going on? I didn't want to do performing arts no more. Yeah, let's go back to identity. I wanted to change my identity. I wanted to be, something that was unrecognizable. Like I wanted to be like a jock.
Okay.
Yeah, because most of the time I was like, oh yeah, I'm on stage. And I remember that was giving me a certain response and reaction to my peers, but I remember also I saw the reactions that the athletes were getting. And I was like, oh, that's where it's at, huh? I gotta be an athlete in order to, receive love and affirmation. Okay. So I tried out for wrestling.
Okay.
Man. That didn't last very long, Josh. Let me tell you something, man. I will say this. By the way, I also watched WWF.
Okay.
Back then it was WWF. Now it's WWE. But, I was looking at Kurt Angle. I was looking at The Rock. I was looking at Stone Cold.
Eddie Guerrero.
Like, Eddie Guerrero. Well, not so much back then. He popped later.
Okay.
Back then, he was this Latino heat, and nobody really liked him. He was a heel to the max. So looking at these things, I was like, I'm going to try this. So I went out for my wrestling team. And for the most part, I think I was catching on. But then, man, let me take that back. I wasn't catching on at all. I wasn't catching on at all, man. But I was in this match against somebody, I think it was Middle Township or something like that. This boy elbowed the doggy stuff out of my left eye. And I was like, ref, you not going to do that? And as I'm talking to the ref, the dude who I'm wrestling put me in the full Nelson and pinned me. And I'm like, this isn't right. I should stop. But yeah, I think identity was something that was on the table for me to chop up, especially in that age bracket, because I wanted a certain response from people and I wasn't getting it. And what the certain response was, it was just the girls. I want the girls to like me, And a lot of times when I was in elementary school and middle school, you know what I would hear?
What would you hear?
A lot of the girls would tell me, Isaiah, you are so nice. And they would say, Isaiah, I feel like I could tell you anything. And, Isaiah, I feel like kind of like my dad.
You don't want to hear that.
And meanwhile, I'm like,
I'm going to be your dad.
I want to be your daddy. And I'm not your daddy. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, oh, man. So, I wasn't girl crazy, but like, I wanted a girlfriend, like I wanted, and I knew that I could sing and I knew that like God blessed me with these talents. And I was like, all right, cool. But it still wasn't garnering that response that I wanted, not from everybody. And I was just like, dang, what do I gotta do, man? So this is elementary to middle school. So I'm just like, okay, I gotta do something different. Which is why I wanted to be like an athlete or something like that. But, that didn't really work out. So I just figured like I'm gonna just change my whole identity. And what I mean by that was I'm gonna just be the reason that girls were saying that about like I'm their dad was because I was just really nice. So I said if I want a different response, I gotta try something different. So towards the end of my years in middle school, I stopped being so nice.
Wow.
And I stopped being so studious like I was. Because I found that socially, the people that weren't as nice and the people that weren't as studious were socially accepted. So I said, all right, 2 + 2 is 4. That's what it is. Got it. And I stopped being nice, man. I started being a little bit of a prick. I started being like a little conceited. I started being all those things that wasn't really me. But I was just like, but let me try this experiment because I think this is like based on the evidence, it's working for them. I need it to work for me because ultimately, I just wanted to feel loved and appreciated, felt like I was special. So, and I wanted the girls' attention. Yeah, that's where I was for me in middle school. And the very beginning of high school for me, I was just like, all right, everything that I'm known for, nice, studious. I was like, out the window. That's gone. Now I'm gonna be 100% different.
How did that work out?
I will say I had a good run.
Okay.
I had a good freshman year run where what I thought would work somewhat worked because I changed schools. I went to one school. I was a dragon. I was a Davies Dragon out there in Maysland. And then what I ended up doing was going to this performing arts high school called Charter Tech. Shout out to Charter Tech. And for a good year, because nobody knew me, it was working. But you could only keep up a lie for so long, man. Before I knew it, the real Isaiah was just coming out, you know? So like if somebody like was really hurting, I would really care. But the persona was, no, I don't care. Or if somebody, like I remember there was a young lady who ended up really like having some type of affection for me and liking me. And I just remember she wasn't on that social ladder that I thought she was. And I was just like, I can't even do it. You know, and making that decision at face value, I was straight. Leaving and going home with that, it was like, this ain't me, man. I did something bad. Like, you know, like that, because there's nothing wrong with this girl. It's just that she's not who I deemed popular enough. Or she's someone that, you know, everyone else doesn't deem popular enough. So, or you know, good enough. So I was like, yeah, that ain't it. So my freshman year, that was cool. But then after a while, sophomore year, it's like, you know, keeping up this illusion is too much work, man. I can't even do it no more. And after a while, it was just like, yo, man, I gotta be myself. And that's what I ended up like, you know, it's just, you gotta be yourself, man. So I kept it up for as long as I could. But then for a while, it was just like, yo, I gotta be real and be myself. And myself was, you know, that theater kid who, you know, really cares about the things that I care about. Like, you know, I care about those Batman episodes, you know, and I care about, you know, all the things I still cared about as a kid. So, you know, when I came into high school, it was like, oh, you got to be older now, and you got to like the older things. Like I came up when June it just came out.
Okay.
Like we just got introduced to 50 Cent, Lloyd Banks, and Young Buck, you know? So, you know, I had a pair of G-Units too. I had a pair of G-Units. I had the S. Carters were out. You know what I mean? Like I had a pair of those, and, you know, Kanye West dropped his first album. College Dropout came out, and, you know, what's on the radio is Jesus Walks and Through the Wire. So these things, you know, like you got to have a fresh cut, got to have them waves, seasick, got to do all those things. You know, the Timberland brand was all up on me and all that stuff, and, you know, all that other stuff that I thought was good. But then after a while, I was just like, yo, I mean, you know, aesthetically, I want to be, you know, acceptable. But at the same time, man, like, I really don't care. What I really do care about is, you know, those things that I take home with me. Like, you know, I'm taping these Batman episodes, or I'm taping, you know, the things that I care about that wasn't necessarily on the subject lines of my peers. So, you know, but I didn't care, man. Like after a while, it was just like, yeah. And then I found friends who shared that same view. Like one friend in particular, she was very much my age. You know, I was born in 89.
Okay.
So they're born in 89 too. And meeting her, it was almost like God was saying, see, it's okay to still be a kid. Everybody else was, you know, trying to be so grown, you know, have sex, smoking, drinking. She wasn't. She was the type of girl. She liked the Pirates of the Caribbean. She was the type of girl that would go to the movie theater dressed as Jack Sparrows and be like, yeah, this is what we doing. And imagine doing that as a junior in high school. Everybody else was like, what the heck is going on here? And even me, I was like that. But then after I got to know her, I was just like, you know what? I'm like this too. Not so much Pirates of the Caribbean, but I'm like this too. Like I'm still very much a kid. And, you know, I very much want to stay true to myself, just like you.
Mm.
And come to find out she liked Batman just like I did too.
Oh,
so
wow.
that was cool too. So I was like, all right, that's what's up.
That's cool. Going back to the trying to be when you talked about identity and you talked about waves.
Yeah,
so
man.
I'm white, black, and Puerto Rican. And there was a phase in my life where my boys was like, it was the wave cream in the orange can.
Okay, I remember that. Yeah.
So they take 2 fingertips, put it in your hands, and go like this.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I had, like, my hair is not wavy hair.
Uh-huh.
And then they're like, brush it. Dude, I had, no waves was coming. I had 3 big tsunamis. Just like 1, 2, 3. So when you said that, that's the first thing.
Yes, I had that Palmer's joint, bro.
We was rolling out. Like, it was just 3.
Dang, man. I remember it's a can too. Yeah. I'll do that joint too. Just all up in there. Oh man, something else. And you know, wrap it up, lay it down, you know, train that head. Yeah.
Up.
So I'm there, man. I was there. And it took me a minute to train my hair, but it didn't take too long. And you know, and I have older cousins too.
Mm.
So, you know, they already been through high school. So they're like, nah, don't wear that, wear this. Nah, you gotta start training your hair. You gotta get these waves up, man. So they schooling me. And I'm just like, all right, well, you know, I'm taking my notes and all right, I'm gonna make it. You know, Old Navy, Gap, we was shopping and, you know, get them hoodies, get them Gap jeans, Old Navy jeans. And
was Hollister at that time?
Yeah, Hollister, but I never got one thing. To this day, I don't have anything from Hollister.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Hollister was like a whole nother world.
Yeah.
It was like you can only work there too if you lived a certain way or looked a certain way. So I was just like, oh man, well, I never got hired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you said you wanted to find that girl, that Pirates of the Caribbean girl. Did you ever get to the point of dating or?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I sure did. Yeah.
Nice.
That was like my best friend. That was my best friend. And she came out of nowhere. She came out like a whirlwind or something, like a storm, because it's funny how you have a group of friends that you rock with or like a circle and you never notice them. Or you notice them, but not in that light or in that position. And I remember this young lady, I've known her since I was a freshman in high school. And
was this from your first school or?
This is from Charter Tech.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was like, okay. I mean, her family was really cool too. Her family, they did their own independent movies.
Okay.
And they allowed me to come over their house and, you know, star or partake in a lot of those movies. So that was really cool. But I never imagined us being like friends beyond that, you know, but yeah, that turned into like that. I took her to my senior prom.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And that was really cool. That was an excellent relationship. That was a great relationship from God, man, because I remember high school it was depressing times. Not all of it, but a good majority of it, because not a majority of it, but there was a good season where it was just like, yo, I just felt like nobody loved me. I felt like nobody cared. I felt like people were going through the motions. You know how some people say they love you, but there's like nothing behind it.
Yeah.
It's just something you're saying. Yeah. And I was just like, and I felt like that from my household. I felt like that from my circle. And I remember getting on my knees and praying. I remember one day coming home from school, just tore up because, you know, sometimes the youth can be a little brutal. Like their mouth can get a little crazy. Yeah. So I remember I was just taking a bus home and this girl was saying like the craziest things to me. And I was just like, why? I don't even remember what I prompted to do to get this response from her, but it hit to my heart. And I just remember going home and I was just dropped to my knees. I was like, Lord. And on top of that, a lot of my friends were in relationships too.
Okay.
And I remember I was like, Lord, I don't feel like nobody loves me. I feel like I look around and everybody that's in my life, I say, I don't see anybody that loves me. Could you send me love, please? Because I don't feel loved. I don't feel any of it. And I literally, sir, by either the next day or by the end of that week, because it's been a while, but that's when this young lady came into my life again. because I've known her, but like this is when she was like had like a halo on her or something. Like she just stood out this time, and she asked me to be a part of her play that she was directing for her senior show.
Okay.
And she was like, "Yeah, can you play opposite of me?" And she affirmed me with her words. She said, "I really liked what you did last year with the Crucible." She said one of my lines. She said, "It's my name." Because I had to say it,
Okay.
but not like that. But I had to say it like that with that emotion. I was like, "You were paying attention?" And she was like, "Yeah. So look, I have this idea, and I want you to be the lead guy in this. Can you do that?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll do it." And from there is where our relationship built, because, I would have to spend time with her, learning these lines and, going back and forth with her and getting the chemistry right and the blocking right and all that stuff. And, shared an on-stage kiss with her. That was cool. And, from there, I just remember she asked me for my jacket. I had this like Letterman's jacket I got from one of these department stores, and, I wore it every day. And I just remember she was like, "Man, I need a jacket. Hey, you mind if I borrow this real quick?" I didn't get it back to the end of the day. She had it all day.
Wow.
And she did that on purpose. I know she did, but I didn't mind either. I didn't ask for it back. And she gave it back at the end of the day. But I was like, all right, cool. But I like that. That was cool.
So you're a words of affirmation type of guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Because words got power. Death and life's in the power of the tongue. So, what you say, it could be planting seeds. And, people remember what you say. Sometimes, I think. But, the words, they can go straight to your heart. So, yeah, words of affirmation, yeah, that helps a lot.
Cool. So, did you end up graduating from the
Charter Tech? Yeah, I'm a graduate, class of 07.
Okay. What was your is it a shop, or like what was you a musician, actor, or?
Yeah, my major was theater.
Okay.
Yeah, I was a theater major, so I graduated as a theater major. That school at that time offered theater, TV production, dance, and if you wanted to be a musician.
Okay.
So music as well, and vocal training too. And we were very small. We only had two hallways.
Okay. Well, how many kids was in the school?
I don't know. That's a good question.
See, I had 45 kids in my high school.
45?
Yeah.
Where did you go?
So it's called Urban Promise Academy.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So it's a very small school in Camden. But so when people say their school was small, I was like, no, it wasn't. Not at all, was it?
We were out there in Summers Point, man, and we were just starting out. I just remember they would always say Tiffany Evans shot her video in front of my high school.
What's that? What's Promise Ring?
Yep. Tiffany Evans did that, and some of my childhood friends went to this school.
Okay.
So I was looking to go. I was you know what, I'm gonna go back to school with my old friends from years ago. Nice. And that's what I ended up doing. So it was cool.
Cool. So graduation day is coming.
Yeah.
What's the transition into like being that adult in life? What was going on through your head?
Oh, shoot. That's a good question, because I'm very much still a kid.
Okay.
Even though I'm a senior in high school and, I'm graduating. College, that was the next step.
Okay.
But I was not excited about it. In my younger years, being as studious as I was and trying to be that do-gooder as a kid, I was like, oh yeah, of course I'm going to college. But as I got older, like I said, it was depressing times. And I was just turned off from the idea of college. And then I was not performing academically as well as I used to. I wasn't horrible, but I wasn't where I was. So what ended up happening was I went to Atlantic Cape Community College. I went to community college first to build up my GPA. And then eventually I made the jump or transfer from ACCC to Rowan University. Yeah, where I met you, right?
Yeah.
So I remember even going to college and having that as a conversation. That same young lady, she told me, hey, this is great. Like, we're together and stuff. Because at this time, we were official and everything.
Okay.
Like, we were boyfriend, girlfriend. And she goes, hey, this is great. However, I can't be with an uneducated man. So you're going to have to go figure this out. Because again, I can't be with somebody that's not educated. And I was like, yeah, so, all right. So she was very much a part of kicking me in the butt to go to school.
Okay.
And, to this day, I'm thankful for it. I remember when I got the letter in the mail that I've been accepted to Rowan University, the first person I called was her. I said, and at the time, we weren't even talking.
Mm.
We weren't even talking. She was mad at me. And I was like, hey, I just want to call you. I know that we're not talking and everything, but I just got my acceptance letter to Rowan University. She was like, oh my God, baby. And I was like, yeah. So that was cool. And then after that, we were on good terms again.
Okay.
Whatever I did or didn't do, she kind of forgot about it. So that was cool. And she was like, yeah, I'm going to help you. I got your dorm or, help you, whatever. So it was cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
So how was college for you?
Man. What? Oh my gosh. College was great.
Okay.
College was great. It was a mixed bag.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of highs, a lot of mids, a lot of lows.
Mm-hmm.
Mixed bag. How can I put it? I took a break.
Okay.
I started 2008, maybe 2009, and then I took a year off.
Okay.
Because me and that young lady, we didn't make it.
Mm-hmm.
And, that hit me. That hit me hard in the heart. That was my heartbreak. And I knew that she went to Rowan as well. And I said, I can't see her. And I can't see her with potentially another guy. I can't even do it. So I removed myself from the situation, regardless of how it would affect me academically or personally. I said, I'm too involved. If I see her with somebody else, it's not going to be good. Let me get out of here. And I did for a year. I was just gone. And then I came back.
Okay.
And I came back and I finished. I came back in 2011.
Okay.
And I went the whole way, didn't stop anymore. And it was interesting because it was a new opportunity. When I went the first time, I was more assimilated into her friend group.
Okay.
So taking that year off and then coming back, they have moved on and they're close to graduating. So I have to start my story and I have to start my journey. So with a new batch of friends and a new batch of opportunities and people and relationships and a new major. Because I started in the beginning as a theater major. Then I made the transition into journalism.
Okay.
And journalism, that excited me because it reminded me of 6 ABC Action News.
Okay.
Desk, anchor, sports, anchor, weather, person, all of it. I said, oh my gosh, that's so exciting. It looks so exciting, Josh. It looked like something that it just has so much life on it. And I said, I want to do that. I want to be a part of building that. So I just went to school literally to start learning it. And I didn't even get a chance to touch it until my last years there.
Okay.
They were all, the way that the program was set up, they give you all aspects of journalism. I graduated with a BA in broadcast journalism, but that was my track. They offered print. They offered online journalism. I learned all of that stuff while at Rowan. And I'll say, if you want to be a journalism major, there's not a lot of homework involved. You don't have these worksheets or workbooks that you got to go home and fill out all the time. What my homework was going to investigate stories. I remember at this time walking from campus because most of my campus career, college career, I did not drive. I didn't have a vehicle. I didn't have everything I used, or anytime I needed to get around, good old Jersey Transit.
Okay.
Or, somebody was helping me do it. But this in particular time, I had to go in my investigative journalism class. I had to go investigate this story about food stamps and how it was accompanied to the Farm Bill.
Okay.
So there was an agency or a building that had ties to food stamps that I had to go to. And it was in a place, I think it was called Mantua. And where Rowan was at the time, it's in Glassboro. Still is in Glassboro, but I had to get there. And I just looked it up.
2 towns over.
Yeah, and it was about a 30-minute walk. It was raining. I had a hole in my shoe too. But I had to get this homework done. And nobody was available to give me this. So I just remember going there and setting it up like an interview. It's like, okay, asking the lady a couple of questions I had, taking notes. Thank you so much. Took about 30 to 40 minutes. Got back on the route. And I remember at the time there was a Kmart in the shopping center.
Yeah.
And
what is that? I think it's a Ross now or something like that.
It's a Ross or maybe a Lidl. I don't know. But in the center was a Payless.
Okay, yeah,
and I was like, I got to get some new shoes because there's a literal hole in my mother-loving shoe. I got to get this done. So, I had to go do that. But that was just a part of the journey and a part of the experience. I remember meeting Hill Harper, the actor. His book came out about Letters to a Young Brother or something like that. Yeah. I got a chance to meet him. He signed my book. I was a part of a lot of things that Mr. G was doing. Gardy Gitu, shout out to him. That young lady, Harley Flat. Yeah, that young lady that I spoke of earlier that put me into, getting to college. She introduced me to him my very first year. She was like, yeah, you're somebody you should know. So, she was just a guide. She was a godsend. She was a very good friend. And Gardy Gitu, he was like, yeah, you gotta come. You should come. And I went. Also, going to college, networking to the extreme. Networking, if anything I got out of college that I could remember that I could credit this place was the networking. If I ever need to go and get put up in Africa, I got a dude named Denzel, my boy Denzel, who lives from Zimbabwe.
Okay.
I could go chill at his house. Or my friend Bashak from Turkey. If I ever got to go to Turkey, I could go to Turkey and be put up there. Or Tomoyo, if I would ever have to go to Japan, I could go there because these are the people that I went to school with.
Yeah.
So that networking was amazing. Like I said, that would probably be the best benefit of college.
Yeah, I love college. I didn't like the like you said in the beginning of the podcast. Student loans is not cool, but just the people you meet is like it's worth that bill.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah.
Cool. What was your degree in? Journalism. But what was the track? You said something about the track.
Broadcast. Okay. Broadcast track. Yeah.
So cool. So senior year's coming for graduation. Did Rowan set you up with the internships, or that was you had to do that on your own?
Well, they didn't set me up, but they let you know it's like this is the time you're gonna need an internship to graduate. So I was looking, and oh boy, I couldn't find anything. I couldn't find anything.
Wow.
And then finally, I found a place called SNJ Today.
Okay.
SNJ Today. Who even knew that South Jersey had their own broadcast studio? Okay. In Millville, in Cumberland County. I had no idea. I'm from Atlantic County, so I said I really don't know about anything outside of here. But through the job that I was working currently, another relationship that I got through college, they said, "Oh, we know somebody that actually has their own broadcast place. You should intern there." Went down there for the interview. And it was so funny because when I got there, this is God just intervening too. The anchor at the time was the former Miss New Jersey. Wow. So throughout my college career, I would have a faithful job. Shout out to Brookstone. Okay. Brookstone, where you get the massage chairs and all the other gadgets
the
and
miscellaneous store.
Yes. I had a faithful boss. He said, anytime you need a job, you could come back in Atlantic City at the Caesars Place and Casino. And one year, all the contestants from the Miss America pageant came down, and we were one of the stores that were open to them so they can go and have a good time. And I remember meeting Miss New Jersey. Her name was Kara McCullen at the time. And I haven't seen her since then. And then fast forward to where I'm going to this interview, she's the anchor. And I remember when I met her the first time, throughout my life, a lot of people would call me Will Smith. I guess in favor, so a lot of times they would match me up and say that. Okay. She said that too the first time she met me. Wow. So I walk in the building for the interview. She goes, Will Smith. I was like, oh, Miss New Jersey, what's up? So that was a a positive thing. That was a good inkling into like how the day was going to go. So I remember going there, doing an interview, getting a call or the email like, hey, you can intern with us. And that turned into a career. Internship happened, had a great time. Still getting there on the bus because I didn't have any transportation, but they kept me. They kept me, and I became, instead of an intern, I became the production assistant for each and every talent, anchor, sports, weather for S&J Today, and anybody else that was on camera.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was my job. I was like, oh my gosh, never saw myself or my life going in that direction, but it was on time, and it was. I appreciate it. I hold it up as a good time in my life.
Cool. The transition to any other jobs. Was there any other jobs during that time, or do you want to get into what do you do now?
Oh my gosh, any other jobs? I mean, on a broadcast track, absolutely not.
Okay.
No, I was gonna say Value City. Shout out to them. Shout out to Ruby Tuesdays. But yeah, and then what I do now, it all started from S&J Today. You know, well, when we had that meeting and they were looking for short form content. So yeah, we could talk about what I do now.
All right, yeah. So what do you do now?
What I do now? I do this. Well, first of all, I work for this nonprofit called Hopeloft.
Okay.
Shout out to Hopeloft, and shout out to the CEO of that Hopeloft, that nonprofit, Melissa Helmbrecht. She's excellent. And shout out to Follow South Jersey. I work for Hopeloft that houses Follow South Jersey, and that is the new digital media platform for South Jersey.
Okay.
And we're based out of Bridgeton, and we also have a campus in Salem. And what we do is, we pour into the communities that we serve and where we're based at. And our headquarters is Bridgeton and Salem, so we serve them as priority. And then, everyone else gets served too, but those are the home bases. Those are our babies.
When you say serve, what do you mean?
I'm currently a site coordinator for a program that we have there called the Community Promise Academy.
Okay.
And that is dealing with serving all of our kids that are in that community of Bridgeton.
Okay.
So a lot of times if you have 12-year-old to about 17-year-old and after school lets out, come to the Community Promise Academy, CPA, where we offer homework help.
Okay.
We offer a meal every day from Monday through Thursday. And we offer a place full of activities for you to do. And that keeps you, out of the element or out of the street.
Nice.
And, I've been blessed enough to be able to be the manager, the head of that in Bridgeton. And it has been a blessing to do. It has been a real blessing to do. And, to be able to realize how much influence that you have on the youth is something else. Because, when I look at them, I see a lot of myself and a lot of them, even the girls, the young men, they, they're just looking for, some consistency, and they're just looking for also the love, and it's like, okay. Yeah.
Well, how big is the staff?
Oh man, for CPA, it's shout out to my staff. Just shout out Miss Jordan. It's about 3 to 4 of us. So Miss Jordan, Miss Amanda, Miss Akaya, and Mr. Jalen.
Okay.
Our new guy, Mr. Jalen. He's very much welcomed into the family, and we just handle our kids, and we pre-plan for them. So we always have something for them to do when they arrive. They sign in, and then we always got to check first. So y'all got any homework before we get into our activity? You sure you got homework? A lot of times they have no homework, and I'm like, y'all lying. Y'all know y'all got some homework, but a lot of times when they come to the CPA, it's a relief from all school all day.
Yeah.
So when they come to us, they want to just let their hair down, and we always, when we serve them dinner, we put a movie on, like cut the lights out, make it real chill. We got like the bean bags, to try to set up the atmosphere to be nice. But in my building in Bridgeton, and it's coming in Salem too, we have also a music studio in there too. So if they ever, what comes with being a teenager the self-consciousness comes.
Yeah.
So it's funny how shy they'll get if you give them the opportunity to go ahead and get on a booth or, get in front of the microphone. I don't know. I don't do that. I don't want to do that. I could be talking to you right now as I am, right? Josh, you want to go in here and help contribute to this song?
Mm-mm.
Before they say that, though, they look. What do you think? But they don't say it, but they look, they say it with their eyes, and then they go, nah, I'm good. But then they'll be the loudest when I'm trying to get their attention to do something that I planned for them. They're like, nah, I just want to do what I want to, you know what I'm saying? Why I gotta be quiet? I don't understand. I don't understand. But it's like, well, where's this energy at now? Like y'all, you don't want to. When I give you the mic, you don't want it. But then when I take the mic off, you like doing a Harlem Shake the whole time. You can't even control your body. So yeah, but it's interesting like that.
Cool.
I love them kids, doggone it, man.
How many kids are you serving?
Right now we got about 10 to 12.
Okay.
10 to 12, and it's just growing. It's only our second year of a CPA.
Nice.
Hopeloft has been around for more than 2 years, but this particular CPA has been around for just about 2 years.
Okay.
So
I gotta get you connected to Urban Promise. Urban Promise opened a camp in Millville.
I heard about that. I think you told me about that.
I tell people a lot about stuff.
Yeah,
so
I think you told me about that.
But I love Urban Promise. Urban Promise was my foundation of.
I've been in their campus at Camden. Yeah, and I love it. I forget the brother who runs it over there. I forget his name. Forgive me for forgetting his name. But
Albert,
what
Tony,
they're doing, it may be.
Okay.
It may be. But I forget what church he goes to too. But I spent maybe 3 to 4 hours over there.
Okay,
and it was amazing. It was all the kids that, they know what time it is. They know how the story goes and how the building runs and the order of operations. And then the music making part too. You got a lot of kids with a lot of bars, as they say. They got something to say, man. And I was just like, okay.
Oh, so who runs the music is probably Derek.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Bro,
there's a lot of names I can throw out. You gotta see a face.
I just when I saw what they were doing, I was just like, yeah, they got it. They're doing good work.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I know you work for Hopeloft as a career-wise, but you also have project or
what would you want?
A baby on the side that you're building?
On the side. What do you mean?
What's good, South Jersey?
Oh, okay. That's all. Well, that's all. That's still Hopeloft.
Oh, okay.
That's still Hopeloft and follow South Jersey.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's see. How do I describe what's good with Isaiah? What's good with Isaiah is a blessing. Just because I get to do what I do. It's it's very similar to the intimacy that we have that you've established here.
Yeah.
But also it's about highlighting the people just like you and me, but are doing really, really good things.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about the one that's coming out this week coming up because when you get behind the camera, you really want to catch the authentic moments. And I think I caught this woman. She was so moved by what this organization decided to do for her and her family that I caught it all on camera. She had shades on. She said, it was so much. And I was just like, oh, I got it all. And, very much earned and deserved because from what I understand, she's now a widow.
Okay.
And she's got 3 kids to, think about. And this place, they really did right by her. But now the people that are doing it, they thought the blessing is that they thought of me to come do this. And it was like a hand in glove for me to be there because it's definitely what's good in South Jersey. So, man, through this medium of just taking my camera and going places through Hopeloft and other avenues, but shout out to Hopeloft for, giving me the camera. I've been able to talk to so many different people that I never thought I would talk to. Like more on a large scale, I've been able to talk to like Donnie McClurkin. I've been able to talk to Holy Gabbana, John Gabbana. I've been able to talk to who used to be like Boot Gang, formerly Boot Gang. And I've been able to get into rooms that I wouldn't even think of going, and covering things that I wouldn't even think of covering, seeing the reactions from people that I wouldn't even think a small video would do. But it goes a long way. It really goes a long way to, be able to make someone feel special. And literally, that's what I do. I get a chance to be able to tell people stories and make them feel special. And that is cool to me to be able to do. And the best part is when it's my friends. When it's the people that I grew up with, or, the people that, in this acting game too, or in this performing arts game, when you go out for auditions and stuff, and when you hear the no's, a lot of times it can be discouraging. But when you're discouraged, to be someone to be able to pick them up and say, no, you are special, and I'm going to get your story. That is like, I don't even have the words. It's special.
Yeah.
It's very special to be able to do, especially when it's your friends too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you do amazing work, by the way.
Well, thank you, sir.
At the end of the
right back at you.
Podcast, we'll give all your information so people can catch out
Amen.
your work.
Amen.
I want to transition, but in the beginning of our conversation, when you came down to the decision-making room, you said, am I a Christian? And I've seen,
sure did. I asked you.
And I've seen in the way you speak, you like to thank God first and thank you, God, for going through the experiences.
Yeah.
When did religion start making its way into your life?
Oh, man. Okay. So in college.
Okay.
It was in college. I've been a part of New Life Ministries for the longest at Rowan University. I was their historian at one point, and then I was their vice president at another point. But I hated Bible study. God knows I hated Bible study. Oh my gosh, I hated Bible study. But I think the Lord, and I was open to the Lord coming into my life once my heart was broken from that young lady that I mentioned earlier. I remember a specific time I was in church, and God, I knew this was him because it wasn't me. Still heartbroken over this relationship that went the way that I didn't want it to go. And I remember just writing in my journal, and reevaluating the steps that I made to get to where I was, and saying to myself, maybe if I had just been a little more caring, or maybe I just been a little more considerate, right? Something came over me where it said, how are you supposed to love when you don't spend time with love itself? I wrote that. That wasn't me. And I was like, I knew that was something from God. And it made me be a little more understanding that as much as you cared about this young lady, you don't have a relationship with God. So anything that's valuable for you, you're going to lose it because you don't know how to nurture it. You don't know how to take care of it. And you don't have a relationship with God, who is the one who takes care of you up to this point. If you think you're sustaining yourself, Isaiah, you're not. Trust me, you're not. It's really a inside job and a bigger job that God is taking care of you. He's sustaining you. So when I made a decision to start paying attention to God, I was in college, and it was off of that breakup. And it's probably one of the best decisions I could have. Being with God takes a lot of things and weight off my shoulders when all hell breaks loose. Because I understand who's in control. And I understand that I respond differently when others react to what happens in the world. When things happen or things crumble, that wasn't my source to begin with. And I hope that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it has helped me to have peace, to be able to see what I'm supposed to be focusing on and how I'm supposed to walk in this life. God is, my sanity. God is my peace and my center. And he is everything. He is my healer. And also my righteousness. Like I said before, the why I'm able to move and do the things that I do. You know, it's really not about the things that I do. It's really more about what he did. And when I say he, I'm talking about Jesus Christ. I'm talking about, you know, God's son. And, you know, what he did on the cross for dying for your sins. It's a big take. You know, a lot of people don't really understand that. There are days where I don't understand it, you know, to this day. But it is good to know that it is so. And it is something that helps when the wiles of the enemy come. The enemy comes in like a flood, you know, God raises a standard and we're supposed to stand and stand therefore. And what we're standing on is, you know, the firm foundation of God. And, you know, you got your word, which is your sword and your shield of faith and these things, you know, and, you know, it just like God's a relationship with him. It just takes time, like with any other relationship. It just takes time, man, just to, you know, get to know him, get closer to him. Yeah, best decision I ever made.
Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
All right, so I have a couple questions for you. In the beginning of the conversation, you said the word depression a lot. Someone that's listening and they listen.
High school was crazy.
Yeah, they listen to the whole episode. What's some small steps someone can do to acknowledge that they're going through that?
Yeah.
And what's a small step to heal?
Yeah, tell the truth.
Okay.
Just be truthful with yourself. You know, if you're anything like me, you know, just get into a quiet space and just say, yeah, this is how I'm feeling, God. You know what I mean? Like I'm feeling depressed right now. I'm really, really sad. You know, give yourself time to grieve too. One of the things in my life that I've noticed is that I never really give myself time to grieve a loss or grieve something that didn't go my way. So I would say just be real with yourself. And what I say is be real with yourself and give yourself time to grieve and allow God to be in that situation. Don't keep that from him. You know, go to God with your problems, not just the good times. Go to God for everything. What was the second question?
I didn't get to it yet.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I let you go in the first one.
Yeah.
The second one is going to be when you made that career decision where you got the internship or the job.
Yeah.
And then there was a break where you were working the what's the restaurant you said? You said
I was at a couple of them. Ruby Tuesdays. I was at where was that? I was at Value City.
Okay.
I was at
so that transition from going to a career job back to doing a job just to stay afloat. What's advice you would give to that person to not give up so they end up in that career path they want?
Oh, man. All right. Put it to you like this, man. You never know who's watching. And while you're out there, what you perceive as struggling and, you know, you're just breaking your back, all it takes is one yes. All it takes is one person to say, I see you. So that's how it happened for me. And it came from it came from years before. It came from the relationships that I had in my past that helped out to where I'm at now, because they saw me while I was in the midst or doing the job that I didn't really want to do. And they said, come here. Remember me? What you're doing, I need you over here. Just like that. But I think they would have missed me had my attitude not been right. And I think they would have missed me had I allowed it to turn me bitter and allowed me to get, you know, down and no love or life coming from me. So I would say, you know, while you're in it, you know, be in it and just don't get bitter. Don't get angry or don't get to the point where you think that this is all there is, because it's not. You know, just you stay faithful because God is faithful. You just stay faithful and, you know, you don't have to be perfect. Just make sure that you know why you're doing what you're doing. And I believe that God is so good that he will not leave you in a unpleasant situation, but he'll take you through that pleasant situation. so that what you went through, you'll have something to tell for the next person. There's always somebody it's not you going through it for just in vain, just for nothing. It's for the next person that's coming up behind you.
And lastly, we're gonna I ain't trying to put you on the spot. What's your favorite Bible verse?
Isaiah chapter 40, verse 31.
Okay.
But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. I think that's a perfect one for what you just asked me before, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Isaiah chapter 40, verse 31. Yep.
Cool. Well, Isaiah, I thank you for sharing your story and your journey today. If someone wants to reach out to you or any projects you're involved with, how could they reach out to you?
Let's see. There's so many ways. You can find me on Instagram, Isaiah, ISAIEH.SHOWELL, Showell. Or you can find me on What's Good with Isaiah, all one word. Or you can find me on TikTok. I'm on there too, Isaiah.Showell. Facebook. What else? I got a LinkedIn too. LinkedIn, Instagram, X, TikTok. Or you can email me, especially if you have a story idea. Email me at Isaiah, ISAIAH HOPELOFT.com, hopeloft.com. Or you can find me at church. I go to Victory in Christ Christian Center, 1055 Delsey Drive. We got 2 services, 9 a.m. and 11:30 a.m. Shout out to my pastors, the Edmondsons.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah, man.
Thanks for tuning in. See you on the next one.